And it appears we are live. Welcome yet again to another edition of the Not Dave Grohl Show. I would give you the tagline, but y'all should know that by now. I make music, and I talk about things. That's all there really is to it. If I look mildly hungover this evening, it's because I am. I don't know what else to say, but you did not get a Friday night episode yet again this week because, well, as with all Friday nights, I seem to get a lot of last-minute invites to things that I did not see coming, but ultimately end up being a lot of fun. And last night, I had an opportunity to do one of three different things, and I was first off invited out to Daytona Beach to watch New Divide play. And for those of you that don't know who New Divide is one of Jack Connor's many side projects, and they are a Linkin Park tribute band. And they're quite a bit of fun, and apparently they were playing with a Limp Bizkit tribute band. But I ended up seeing somebody do a Limp Bizkit cover last night, so it's, I kind of got my fill of Fred Durst. The truth of the matter is I can only handle him in 3-minute intervals anyways, so it's good that it was limited to one song. But the second offer was to go out to Cocoa Beach and jam at an open mic where everybody pretty much plays in a round robin, from what I understand. And that was what I decided I was going to do until offer number 3 came in, as in the Dude, whom are a really fun metal band that I made friends with last year, invited us out to their show, where Green Jelly was the closer. And what a night that ended up being. Green Jelly, the only way that I know how to describe them is if Willy Wonka was mashed up with an episode of Invader Zim and led by Andrew Dice Clay. You could go on my Facebook and my Instagram and you can take a look at what I mean. About 5 seconds of listening to Billy Manspeaker speak, and you will definitely... The sophomoric humor is real with those guys. And got there a little late because I had to drive all the way to Kissimmee to get Rambo and then take him all the way back out to Tampa with me, in which case my phone's AI for Google now will only respond to me if I speak like Dave Mustaine. So I had to reset it. Because I showed up to his place and I was listening to the record Peace Sells Who's Buying. If I need to explain to you the importance of that record, please leave this conversation immediately. Because it is not for you. But as we're driving down the road, we came up with this really fun idea where we are going to write a thrash metal song. And it is going to be called Thrash Metal in the Key of Dave Mustaine. It is going to go right up with another song that I wrote about, 6-7 months ago. I initially called it the Finn McKenty Fight Song, even though it's not really about that. It's actually defending him. But it's going to be a punk rock song done on a 7-string guitar. And it's going to be about opinion outrage on YouTube, because opinion op-ed type people like Finn McKenty get thrown a lot of trash for giving out op-eds, and I think it's bullshit. So I've been writing a song about that, but getting back to the thrash metal piece, it is basically going to sound like a Megadeth song, and it is going to be sung in Dave Mustaine voice, and it is going to be a bunch of nonsense conspiracy theories. And we were coming up with ideas for this while we were driving down the road, and I was in complete pant-pissing seizures, laughing so hard that I thought I was going to flip my car going down I-4. I wish I could explain some of this stuff to you, but you put two guitar players in a car that are bored and have an hour and a half worth of travel. They're going to talk about stupid shit. And believe me, me and Rambo together, that's a masterclass in just how stupid two people who do not smoke pot can possibly get when put in a car together. But that did not compare to what happened when Green Jelly took the stage last night. First off, a bunch of inflatable implements ended up on stage. The stage turned into, I want to say, a major fire hazard, because I've never seen that many extension cords plugged into each other in my entire life. In which case, there was an inflatable space alien, a Peppa Pig. If you know, any of you have children or are aunts or uncles or anything like that, that doesn't require any explanation. There was an inflatable dachshund, which the singer, Mr. Manspeaker, decided that he needed to fornicate with on stage. Of course, I don't know how much of this I can go into without getting blocked on at least one platform, but either way, the best part of the night was when they called 25 of us backstage to put on these giant, and I do mean giant, masks. Once again, reference my Facebook or my Instagram if you want to see an example of this, because the bartender stole mine from me, and I told her if she stole it from me that she was obligated to take a picture with it, because, you know, like, you're fucking with my ability to help Green Jelly with their stage show. So I ended up with this giant clown mask on my head that I could not see out of. And I don't think anybody could see out of their masks, because we were all up on stage for a little number called Three Little Pigs, which, if you know, you know. And then we were released into the crowd to mosh, and we were obligated to wear these helmets for these giant foam masks for about the next 3 or 4 songs. And it was less of a mosh pit, and it was more like 3-year-olds in a pillow fight. I don't know how else to explain it. But after the show let up, I did get to meet all of the present members of Green Jelly, because Billy Manspeaker is the only original member of that band. I think he's the only full-time member of that band, and only ever has been. And I know that members of Tool have been in and out of that band too. I think Danny Carey and Maynard James Keenan were in it before they formed Tool. But I ended up buying this, and the trend continues. As you could see, there are a bunch of signatures on it. I've got to admit, they were probably the coolest group of weirdos I've ever met in my life. The bass player looked like the kind of woman that would go home with you so that she could murder you in your kitchen, and she turned out to be a total sweetheart. Her name is Slim. Their guitar player, who goes by Jelly Lugosi, but his real name is Tyler. Super cool dude. Got to meet Billy Manspeaker, who was an absolute sweetheart off stage, despite being one of the crassest people I've ever met in my life on stage. And their drummer's name is Chris. Needless to say, that was a conversation starter. But ended up having a lot of fun there last night. So for those of you who were looking for me to be here last night. My record just fell over. Sorry. But anyways, this is going to be a short one tonight. I think I'm going to do something a little bit longer for him. I just kind of wanted to talk for a few minutes about what is coming up, because I have completed the lyrics for what is called Desert Song, and I have made a decision about how I am going to release that and under what banner. And some of you may be wondering, is this going to be a Vertebreaker song, a Streetlight Interference song? Are you going to come up with a new name? And the answer is no, no, and no. I am going to release it under Rob Montgomery's. It's more of a collective than a band. It's just kind of whoever joins and whoever contributes to it. It's called Suit of Swords, which I may have talked about in the past. I can't remember. But the more and more of that song that I wrote and the more and more of it I demoed, the more and more I realized that it sounds like something he would have written. And he is contributing vocals on it, so it just makes sense. So it is going to come out as a Suit of Swords song when the full version is eventually done. There is a completed lyric sheet for it now, so that's good. We are going to do our absolute best to get that recorded to the best possible quality and get that out to the rest of the world, because the more and more I listen to it, and the more and more I think, keep taking notes on it and the things that I want to add and subtract, the more and more I realize that that track is one of my favorite things that I've ever written, which means that it's probably doomed to failure, which leads me to the next part. Because for those of you who were on Facebook earlier today, if you are one of my friends on there, you would have seen that I am I asked you guys to pick between two songs because I want to do a cover on stream. I want to build it up from scratch, the way that I was doing them last year, and kind of show you guys my process for that, of which I'm still not sure how much of that I can show on camera without getting a copyright strike, because part of that does require actively listening to the original song and picking it apart, and figuring out the parts to it, and then figuring out what I'm going to change, because I often do that. Anybody who was here when I was mixing the Saved by Zero stuff, you guys know that I changed that song pretty heavily. So the choices were between Hum's Stars, which is one of my favorite songs ever. Hum is one of my favorite bands ever. And Failure Stuck on You, also a favorite of mine. And, well, I have decided that I'm going to do both. I just, putting it up there as a poll was more of a, which one do I want to work on first? And it was strongly suggested that I do the Hum one first, but then Mr. Montgomery got back to me, because I kind of messaged him in the background while I was thinking about this, and kind of said, hey, if I did a cover of a Failure song, would you want to sing on it? And he said, which song are you thinking? And I said, Stuck on You. And his response, not a direct quote, just me summarizing, was, does the Pope shit in the woods? And so that would be a yes. So I've got a singer for that one, so I think that's going to be the one that I do first. And not only that, it's the simpler of the two songs, and it's the one song that I'm going to do a faithful cover of, as in I am going to get it as close to the original as I possibly can. Because, no version of a song is ever going to be identical to the original anyways. I don't care how hard you try. But that one is going to be a faithful cover, because it's kind of a great song the way that it is, and I just kind of want to cover it. So that's the way that that's going to go down. With the Hum song, Stars, which is another one of my favorite songs, I am also going to do a mostly faithful cover of that. It is also a fairly simple song. It's only got one complex section, but I commonly use that song when I'm warming up, anyways, because it yeah, for it being such a heavy song, it's actually pretty relaxing to play. So the only thing that I'm going to change about that song is I'm going to do it a half step lower. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty much a faithful interpretation of the original song. I might add some atmosphere to it or whatever else, just depending on what I'm hearing. I'm definitely going to change the way the lead guitars were done, because on the original record, it sounds like they basically just used a DI. For those of you that don't know, that's a direct input, as in it was basically just plugged into something with no amplifier, and it just kind of sounds very plain. So I'm going to do something, don't know what yet, to make the leads a little bit more powerful, because they really, really punch hard in the original. But truth of the matter is I think I might be able to do it better. So I'm going to give it a shot. So that's probably going to be the immediate focus of the next several videos, is working that stuff out. And I'm probably going to cheat a little bit and work on these in the background while I'm not on camera, so that they get done faster. And then put them on a folder and not look at them again for 6 months. Because that's what I do. Sorry. For people that want a fast release schedule from me, never going to happen. I finish things when I finish them. But, other than that, I am going to start retracking Desert Song, but I'm not going to do that on camera. You guys already know all the parts anyways, so there's no real reason for me to put you guys through another tracking session, because some of you guys really like that part. Others of you like it a lot more when I just get on camera and talk. Which, why? I'm like the most boring person I know. But, I mean, my videos where I have just sat here and kind of talked long for them into the camera tend to do better. So I have made a judgment call that is going to be worked into the schedule at least once a week. Usually enough happens in a week that I can kind of knock it out in 20 to 30 minutes. And, I am willing to do that because, well, who am I kidding? My life is nowhere near as boring as I make it out to be. My life is probably nothing if not slightly extraordinary. Only slightly, though. Not quite a Star Wars movie, or at least one of the good ones, but haven't had to battle any Sith Lords, at least not in real life. So I am going to dedicate more time to that, because people seem to enjoy it for some reason. And even Jack, when he was over here tracking the demo stuff for Desert Song, was just like, yeah, I kind of like the part where you get in there and you just talk on the camera too. Like, I get that, a part of your channel is about production and all of that stuff, but how many people are really interested in that? And it's like, well, I'm interested in it. That's why I'm doing it. And not only that, I mean, when you stop and look at it, since I started this channel, I've finished excuse me, four songs. So it is, the channel is functioning in the capacity that I want it to, which is, it is keeping me active and productive, because I really just get in this bad habit of working on something really hard and just, 3-4 sessions, just banging out all of this really difficult work, and then just kind of not doing anything for another month. And this keeps me consistently coming in here and actually working on something, rather than kind of, okay, I have an idea. Let's just crunch it all out in a couple of days. So it is having its intended effect. I mean, this is more for me, guys, more for me and less for you guys. But, you know, it is bringing in an audience. So I would be remiss to ignore that altogether. That being said, I have not actually looked inside of this thing. And I am going to do it here on camera. First off, I did buy some stickers, which I think are really cool. And they gave me this as well, which is also really cool. And I believe the QR code, I'm going to hold it up here for those of you actively viewing and those who will view it later on. Scan that QR code because supposedly it leads to their new music video, which was done by their bass player Slim, as she told me last night, which is really cool. And then I've also, I don't even know what this is supposed to be, but it looks really cool. I've got to start finding a place that I can actually put all of these things up. Because I have a ton of them at this point and nowhere to put them. But here we go. And I did not realize that this was, you know, it's kind of, it's only semi-transparent. That's really neat. I think I'm going to listen to this later because I have not yet. I need to do that. But most importantly, I was a part of this stage show. How often do you get to be a part of a band's stage show? Impromptu, you know, like I didn't know that was going to happen, but I still had a lot of fun with it. So there is that. So one of these days, come on now. There we go. But I am... So yes, to recapitulate, the next several streams are going to be dedicated to working on those covers, and I am going to finish up Desert Song, and I'm going to get it tracked, get the vocals tracked properly, because I now have a complete lyric sheet for that, and I am going to work on getting that produced and released as soon as I possibly can. And get that out to everybody so that you can either stream or purchase or whatever you would like to do. And then I am going to spend the next several episodes here on camera working on building up those covers. And if I can find a way, fixing my pop filter here, as if that wasn't already obvious. But what I am going to do is I'm going to see what the rules are for me putting the original audio in these, because this is a good opportunity to kind of demonstrate active listening and how to chart a song and all of that, especially when you're working with something that isn't yours. But I've got to figure out what the copyright rules are for that, because I think YouTube is fine with it. As a general rule, as long as you let them know that, because they've got a system in there where if you are doing a cover of music or whatever else, if you state it when you publish the video, then you what it does is it basically gives it back to the copyright holder so that they can generate revenue off of it. Given that none of my 3 channels generate any revenue whatsoever at this point. I mean, they're just too small. You know, the thing of the matter is that as long as you designate that that's what's going on in the video, and they will give whatever revenue stream back to the original artist, which honestly I think is fair. It's their song, even if I'm re-recording it and retracking it and Like, I don't want to make any money off of it. That would not be the right thing to do. I just want to do these songs because I love them. But Facebook seems to have a different set of rules, and it seems to be very AI controlled. And I've even gotten copyright on stuff that belonged to me because I was actively writing it on the channel. If you were there for those episodes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But like, the thing of the matter is I don't want to get in trouble, so I may have to find trickier ways to do parts of, like, I may need to pre-record parts of it and only release parts of it on YouTube because I know that I can get away with it. Like, you know, cut those pre-recorded parts in, and then, like, the live stream is just going to be me actually playing and recording the stuff. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. So I've got to think about that between now and tomorrow. But one way or another, I'll figure it out. Because, like, I really do want to bring active listening into this, in ear training and stuff like that. Because a lot of mixing and mastering, for those of you that are here for that, is about listening to what people have done before you and figuring out how they did it. Because that builds a vocabulary that allows, you know, like, you can listen to something and be like, oh, you know, this is panning from this speaker to this speaker, you know, whatever. And you can, you know, like, you have an answer for that already, which is what's going to make you a better producer, a better mixer, a better master, all that stuff. Because you're, you know, it's one of those things, the knowledge is there, and it's, you know, so you can just listen to it and be like, oh, that's that. I know how to do that. Which ultimately will make your productions a lot faster. So I just don't know how I'm going to do that without getting copyright struck on Facebook. So maybe I won't stream those episodes to Facebook, and maybe I'll just put a link in there to the YouTube channel, which I would prefer for everybody to just go there and subscribe anyways. But I've got to accept, like, I have way more followers on Facebook than I do on Twitch. Not that I promote my Twitch channel, but that's how I broadcast. Like, it goes to Twitch, and then I use an application that streams it back to YouTube and Facebook so that it's live on all three platforms at the same time. But I never look at my Twitch channel. Maybe I should, because I have no idea whether or not I'm attracting followers there or not, because I've not looked at it since I started this. It was just the application that I found to do the restreaming would not allow me to stream directly to YouTube or Facebook, but it would allow me to stream to Twitch and then rebroadcast it back out to those. So that's kind of how we ended up in that. And after experimenting with StreamYard, it creates more problems than solutions, so I'm probably not going to continue to use that. As fancy and as advanced as it is, doing this through OBS gives me a lot more control over how I am pushing audio into the stream and all that stuff. So I want that control to be there. Even though it does have some really good layout features, I just don't think that it is the right application for me, at least not right now. But that being said, where was I going with all that? This is why I should make a little script that I can read off of up there. But I'm never going to do that because I'm just not a scripter. So, but trying to remember, where was I going with this? Why was I explaining all of this? But yeah, so I've got things I've got to figure out between now and tomorrow. But I do think what is going to change is I'm not going to do a Friday stream anymore. I'm going to start doing it on Sundays. So for those of you watching, start looking forward to the Friday broadcast to actually be on Sunday. Ooh, I grounded something. There we go. That's better. I still grounded something. Too many cables in this room. Sorry, guys. But I, what was I gonna say? Like, I'm just having one of those days. I like don't ever stream hungover. If you want your memory intact, it's just not gonna go anywhere good. But yeah, my big thing in that regard, I need to remember what I was gonna say. So going back to this, because I now remember the first part, but yeah, I think what I may end up doing is just publishing those episodes exclusively to YouTube, because I know how to work their copyright system better than I do Facebook's. Facebook's will flag it, they'll give me a strike, they'll shut down my page, and I don't want that unless I can find a way to do it. But the other technical hurdle is figuring out how to get music from Spotify in here. But there seems to be a feature in OBS where I can do application audio capture. So I might, you know what? Let's have an experiment. This could go horribly wrong, but I'm going to try it anyways. I'm going to open up Spotify here, and I'm going to wait for it to update real fast. And then I am going to try to set up a sound source and see if I can get that in there. Spotify, finish installing, please. This laptop is way too fast to be taking that long with a small application. Okay, here we go. Cool. Please scroll over. There we go. And application audio, we're going to say, call the source Spotify, and click OK. And okay, Spotify.exe, and let's see if I can get one of these two songs to play. And I'm only going to do about 15 seconds worth of audio. Let's see if I can get it to play. Cannot play the current song, because of the interface. That's another thing I've got to figure out. It thinks it's playing something. Maybe, you know what? I got an idea. Because it's Reaper opening up all the channel. Oh, I can't close Reaper because I need the microphone. I wonder. I'm going to have to do some research on that. Maybe there's a way for me to pipe Spotify into Reaper that I don't know about yet. So there's some technical challenges, and I've got to figure out what they are, because I really do want this to be a lesson in active listening and how to figure out what's going on in a song. So we're going to do that, and we're going to go from there. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap this episode up, because other than getting on here to discuss things for a few minutes and kind of explain all the crazy footage that went up on my Instagram last night, I didn't really have much for this evening. I think I'm going to just go relax and go be hungover. I think that's what's going to happen. And then maybe I'll go for a run later. Who knows? But anyways, I will be back tomorrow to do something a little bit more educational and a little less explanational, which is not a word, but who cares? And hopefully by then I will have that technical hurdle all figured out. And we can have some fun building a couple of ground up covers. So anyways, for those of you that joined me tonight for the post-mortem episode of the Not Dave Grohl Show, Green Jelly Edition, If you have not already, I would greatly appreciate it if you click the follows and the subscribes and the thumbs ups and twist knobs, pull levers. I am way, way too exhausted to do the Invaders in voice tonight. I should have been a voice actor. That sounds like fun work. But if you did so, if you have done so, I greatly appreciate it. If you do so, I greatly appreciate it. And if you don't do so, I still appreciate it. Thank you for joining and watching for even a couple of minutes. It is always greatly appreciated. But I will be back tomorrow night to work on something. But before I go, I have an idea. Is there a alien communication? I will play through parts of the two songs that I am going to cover here really quick before I end the stream. Seems like an appropriate thing to do. Got to figure out how to do it on the lower register, but on the upper register. Okay, apparently I don't know how to do it completely in the upper register either, but those are just a couple of riffs from those songs. They are going to be more mid-tempo, a little bit slower. But, you know, could be fun. They're good riffs. Once we get vocals into them, I know that Rob would greatly love to do a Failure cover, and he has definitely got the same vocal range as Ken Andrews, who is the singer for Failure. So, one more time through. See how many times I get this through before I screw it up. That's basically it. So, either way, it'll be a fun time. I'm looking forward to recording that and putting my takes on it. But, I don't know. How about another song? There was a third song I was going to add on there, but I knew that nobody would know who it was, so nobody would pick it. But this is by a band called Nothing, and the name of the song is Famine Asylum. And I might do a cover of this too. Let's see. think I should try that again just to get it right, because I forgot how to play that part. All right. Good night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the distorted fade out.